So, what happens when you put 7 years of life experience in a room with 64? Today, we're going to listen in on a single conversation that spans a 57-year gap, and it reveals some pretty incredible things about love, loss, and just being human.
You know, it sounds like a simple question, right? But it really gets to the heart of how we think about age and wisdom. The real question isn't just what they can teach each other, but what their conversation can actually teach us.
All right, so let's meet them. On one side, we've got 7-year-old Sean, and on the other, 64-year-old Gordes. That's a 57-year difference. I mean, that is literally an entire lifetime of experience sitting between them.
So where do you even start a conversation like this?
Well, they start on some pretty common ground. The simple, everyday complaints that come with their age. For one, it's homework. For the other, well, that's a little more physical. Gordes is the first one to reach across that 57-year divide. He asks a really simple, direct question to try and get a peek into Sean's world.
And Sean's answer is just perfect. Of course, the worst thing is homework, right? We can all relate. But what's really interesting is that little bit of nuance he adds. He says being young is in the middle of bad and good. That's a surprisingly deep take for a 7-year-old.
So then, Sean flips the question right back at him, trying to look across all those decades and imagine a life that's totally different from his. And right there, that's the big contrast. Sean's number one problem is something external, it's homework. For Gordes, the challenge has moved inside. It's the quiet, honest truth about living in a body for more than 6 decades.
But then Gordes offers this perspective that, can only come from looking way, way back. The absolute best thing about being young isn't the energy or not having bills to pay. Nope, it's the one thing you can never, ever get back: time. Okay, so from here, the conversation takes a turn. It shifts from the physical stuff to the really deep emotional things. They start talking about love.
You can just hear the pure, unfiltered curiosity in Sean's question. He's looking into this giant mystery of a future, trying to figure out what love is all about from his 7-year-old point of view.
And his picture of the future is just fantastic. He pictures having a family and his go-to solution for a crying baby. He'll just sing some Ed Sheeran. It's such a sweet, simple, and honestly, a very modern take on what love is going to look like for him.
And then, the question gets turned around. And this is where the whole conversation pivots into something much heavier.
Gordes' answer is just so direct. It's heartbreaking. And it holds an entire lifetime of joy and pain. In just 2 little sentences, that 57-year gap between them suddenly feels very, very real. You can see Sean getting visibly upset by this, but Gordes, he doesn't try to shield him from it or sugarcoat it. Instead, he offers this really gentle but powerful piece of wisdom. He boils down one of the hardest parts of being human into 3 simple words. That's life. And here's his advice on how to live with that loss. It's not about trying to forget the pain. It's about choosing to live with the joy. You carry those people with you, in your head, by focusing on all the good things. It's a masterclass in how to remember.
So this leads us to the final part of their conversation, and honestly, it might be the most amazing part. It's the advice they end up giving to each other.
And what's so cool here is that the wisdom flows in both directions. Gordes offers that classic wisdom you earn over a lifetime. Happiness isn't about money.
But look at Sean's advice. It's just as profound in how simple it is. Be kind, don't be a bully, and show people you care. It's just pure, unfiltered goodness. Gordes listens to everything Sean says, and then he boils it all down into this one universal truth. He hears the wisdom in what Sean is saying, and he hands it right back to him as a life lesson. In this one line from Gordes, it perfectly sums up the bridge they built across that 57-year gap. It's a shared truth they found together. The most important thing you can do is just be yourself.
Their conversation just goes to show you that wisdom isn't just passed down like a lecture. It's shared. It's a two-way street. And that leaves us with one last thought. If you could have a chat with your younger self, what would you say? And maybe, just maybe, what forgotten truths could that younger you remind you of today?